just seen me having my lunch and playing the 59th Street Bridge song, because I have my snack rack with me. I have got some vegetarian flatbread, an iced bun from Sustainable Iced Bun Forests, and some organic bilberry juice from the Himalayas, or was it the Himalayas? I'm not sure, but there we are. And Crocodile is my manager who's going to sell them for me. Yeah, what's not to love about a snack rack? He did that very well, didn't he? Do you not think so? Right, now where should we start? You have got to be very sensible today, because I've had complaints that you're very silly, and we can't have that. Otherwise, we won't be learning a curriculum, will we? So we're going to have to be a little more sensible today than usual. We can't have any more pie jokes. Well, all right, we can have one pie joke. We can have one pie joke, but it's a good one. Are you ready for this? Which pie joke before did you think was the best? Well, I'm telling you, this is the best. See if you can guess what it is before I tell you. Flaky pastry, look. Come on, shout it out, is it? It's a pinocular. A pinocular. Now, these are very, very useful pies, because you see, look how you work it. Oh, it's a lovely, lovely leek and potato pie with creamy white sauce. Can you see? You can see what's in the pie without having to cut a piece off. Look again. Oh, it's a lovely, lovely Blamley apple pie. There we are. How useful is that? You don't need a label on it to say it's a lovely, lovely leek and potato pie or a lovely, lovely Blamley apple pie. You just look into the pie. And you can see if the filling is exactly to your taste or not. I've been around all the baker's shops trying to sell them the idea, because I thought it would save them putting labels on their pies, wouldn't it? People could just walk along and go, oh, look at that, it's a lovely vegan tofu pie. You see? I don't know whether it'll catch on or not, but I don't know. Maybe next time this year, Rodney could be a millionaire. Well, I don't know. Try that. Anyhow, now that we've got that out of the way and we're being sensible, shall we have a sensible song? I like this song. It's a very quiet one. You may have heard it before. If you have, then you can join in the bits that you know. To be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, to be in the valley of love and delight, when true simplicity is gained, to bow to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round. happy song, that one. Now let's have a story. This is called Emily and the Golden Acorn. There we are. We'll find out who Emily is as the story goes along. Once upon a time, there was a great oak tree. It had grown through many seasons, spring, summer, autumn and winter, year after year. The tree stood in a garden, and next to the garden was a house. And in the house lived a little girl. Her name was Emily, and she loved the tree. She knew that in the tree there was magic. For Emily and her younger brother Jack, the tree was a pirate ship. The trunk was a mast, the branches were the spars, and the leaves, as they filled with the warm summer breeze, were the sails. One afternoon, while a fierce wind blew, their dad came out and said, "Well, I don't think you should be up in that old tree in this weather. It's too dangerous. It might fall down." That night, before she went to sleep, Emily looked out of her bedroom window at the old tree and made a wish. Later, under the full moon, the tree began to change. What's it changing into? It's like a pirate ship to me. That's all right, me. The next morning, Emily awoke and looked out of her window. Something had happened. Instead of houses and gardens, there was now a shining sea. Emily ran to wake Jack, and together they rowed out to where Emily's tree had stood, and where now stood a pirate ship, rigged and ready to sail. Off they go. "She's called the Golden Acorn," said Jack. "Anchors away, Master Jack," Emily cried. And they set sail across the back gardens and into the street. "Morning," said Ted the postman. "Lovely weather for a sail, but they do say there's a storm brewing." Well, let's see. They sailed out through the town, past houses, shops, church spires, factory chimneys and hills, until at last they reached the open sea. And they're waving to somebody on the top of a house there. Goodness gracious. They sailed across an ocean as blue as crystal, and a dolphin swam with them, leaping and laughing in the sparkling waves. They saw far-off islands, a whale, and many wonderful things. Then far away on the horizon, they spied a golden light. Can you see it? Just at the top there. The golden light came from a tiny tree perched on top of a towering black rock. Emily could see dark storm clouds looming all around it. "Set sail for the light, Master Jack," Emily cried, but the strong wind was already blowing them there. As they drew closer to the rock, the ship began to pitch and roll in the heavy seas. Emily climbed the mainmast while the wind and sea raged around her. Jack threw the iron anchor to make fast the ship to the black rock. There's the anchor, look, clang. The golden acorn heaved in the great swell, and just as the anchor struck the rock, a huge wave crashed against the ship and covered Jack completely. Emily was sure they'd reached the edge of the world. She looked down and saw where the sea fell away to a storming, bottomless chasm. "The light on the tree is a golden acorn," Emily yelled against the wind, but there was no reply. There was no Jack. The wave had swept him away. If you look very carefully, you can see Jack falling into the sea. Oh, goodness me. Emily picked the golden acorn from the branch. Its golden light fell over the dark sea. No Jack. She clambered down the mast. No Jack. She rushed to the other side of the ship. No Jack. Suddenly the wind changed. The ship strained against the rope. If the rope broke, how would she save Jack? Then above the roar of the storm she heard a cry, "Emily! Emily!" It was Jack, riding on the back of the dolphin. No sooner had Jack climbed the ladder to safety than the anchor rope snapped and the wind began to blow them back, back, back from the edge of the world. They sailed on until Jack saw a light in the distance. It was their bedroom window. They were nearly home. They waved goodbye to the laughing dolphin. A last great wave flung them into their garden, and the ship came to rest. Emily held on tightly to the golden acorn. Oh dear. When the weather cleared, they found that the old oak tree had blown down. Oh, how sad. Later, Emily gave her dad the golden acorn. "It's treasure," she said, "from the edge of the world." "Ah, it is treasure indeed," said her dad. They planted the acorn where the old tree had stood. Soon a new tree would begin to grow. That's good. It's nice to replace trees, isn't it? When they died or when they've fallen down. Now, I'm going to show you how to train a snail. This is my snail. All right. But first of all, let me tell you some things about snails. You must not trust snails. Right? You turn your back on them, they will attack you. It'll probably take them a fortnight before they get to you, but they will attack you. Now, they haven't got any teeth, but they can give you a nasty suck with those gums. Do you know what? I was in the garden last year and a snail bit off one of my fingers. Yep. Now, so that I don't forget, I kept the finger in a box. And I didn't know whether to show it to you or not, because you might be a little bit squeamish about seeing fingers cut off. Do you want to see it or not? If you want to see my finger in the box, bitten off by a snail, say yes. Okay. Well, if you're sick, not my fault. I'm not clearing it up. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Just think, that used to be one of my fingers and it used to wiggle like these. Did you see that? Did you? That's a trick, isn't it? Right, the first thing about a snail is that you have to have snail treats, just like a dog. So when they do something clever, you give them a treat. I got these from Snail and Myers. That's a little builder's joke for you. And you need the equipment. First of all, you need a whip, just in case it gets out of control. And a pair of these. And if all else fails, you whack it on the head with one of these. Now, just the same as with dogs, the first thing you do with a snail is to make it stay. Make it obedient. Stay. Listen again. Stay. Stay. Do you see? Do you see how it obeyed me? What do you want me to do? Do something else? Make it come. I'll try it. Come to Rodney. I can train snails. Come to Rodney. Oh, great. You good old boy. Whoa, look at that. I think you can have a snail tweet, don't you, for that? Yes, there we are. The lovely. Watch your fingers. There we are. You can have a snail treat. Oh, lovely. Right, shall we have a song before we finish up? This song is called Joe the Carrier Lad. It's about a time when there were no motor cars or buses or trains like that. Everybody went around on their feet or on a horse, or they had a cart pulled by a horse. This is a story of a little boy whose daddy is a carrier. That means he carries things around on a cart pulled by a horse. My Joe is Joe, the carrier's lad, a merry chap and I always am contented, be the weather wet or dry. I snap my fingers at the frost, I whistle at the rain. I brave the storm for many a day, and I will know again. Crack, crack goes my whip, I whistle and I sing. I sit upon my wagon, I'm as happy as a king. My horse is always willing, and I am never sad. Oh, who could lead a life more gay than Joe the carrier lad? Try the chorus next time. My father was a carrier before that I was born. He used to rise at daybreak and go on his rounds each morn, and then he'd take me with him, especially in the spring. I love to sit upon the car and hear my father sing. Crack, crack goes my whip, I whistle and I sing. I sit upon my wagon, I'm as happy as a king. My horse is always willing, and I am never sad. There's none can lead a life more gay than Joe the carrier lad. Joe the carrier lad. Right, it's time to go, I think. Oh, but before we do you remember that I sent the Prime Minister a present? I sent him a comb, and he sent me a present back again. Oh, I can't wait to open it. It's lovely, lovely present. He's used the same wrapping paper that I use. Can you see? I don't know what's in it, but there's a note on the top, and it says, I would like to give you this myself. Let's have a look. Oh, dear me. See you later.